Moore, and I'm the Arts and Culture Editor at the Daily Beacon, and this is What to Watch Wednesday. This week we're talking about movies with a culinary emphasis. Here are a few stories about how food and cooking has affected people in their lives. The first film I'm going to be talking about is Julie and Julia. This film talks about the life of Julia Child in the years of her culinary career, paired with the life of a young New Yorker who aspires to cook all 524 recipes in Child's cookbook in a year. Julia Powell is a young writer with an unpleasant job where she answers telephone calls from victims of the 9/11 attacks. To do something she actually enjoys, she decides to cook every recipe in Mastering the Art of French Cooking by Julia Child in 1 year. Powell decides to write a blog to motivate herself and document her progress. Intertwined with Powell's story in the early 2000s is the story of Julia Child's time in Paris throughout the 1950s, where she goes to school to learn French cooking and begins writing her famous book about French cooking for American housewives. The film highlights similar struggles in the women's lives through their cooking journeys. The second film I'm going to be talking about today is The 100-Foot Journey, which talks about two restaurants in competition in a small village in France. After a personal tragedy back home, a family relocates to Europe and wants to start a traditional Indian restaurant in the countryside of France. Upon arriving, they learn of an abandoned restaurant building available for purchase. It is located directly across the street from the other fancy, slightly pretentious, and professional local restaurant. Restaurant war erupts between the father and the owner of the French restaurant, and the restaurants compete for the top. The 100-Foot Journey is a feel-good story of love, culture, and family in the way people dine, eat, and cook. At last, consider the 2014 drama Chef. In the movie, Carl is the head chef of a 5-star restaurant in California. While Carl is popular with his kitchen staff, the restaurant owner wants Carl to stick to the classics rather than trying new dishes. When Carl has the chance to impress a prestigious food critic, the restaurant demands that he sticks with classics rather than some of Carl's own personal dishes. It leads to a negative, critical review. Carl comes up with an inspirational new menu that his staff loves afterwards. However, he quits after confronting the owner who wants the same old menu again. After quitting his job, Caspar returns to his home in Miami to start a food truck. Although he has a strained relationship with his ex-wife and his preteen son, the three of them decide to drive the food truck back to LA, selling food along the way. It's funny, comedic, and about the way that food can bring people together in the modern day. That's it for this week. Don't forget to check out the article that goes along with this video, and I'll see you next week.